Hey everyone, this is Donald Monroe. I've seen your comments on my recent YouTube videos asking about my SpaceX Starship model. So today we're gonna take a tour of that. This is gonna be kind of a fun remake of the Everyday Astronaut Tour with Elon. So welcome to my home, welcome to my Starbase tour. Let's hop right into the tour. All right, so we're here at the pad. This is my 1/96 scale Starship model. It's a very accurate replica of the real SpaceX Starship, version 1 obviously. So you've got the whole launch tower, the Starship, the booster, and the orbital launch mount with the water-cooled steel plate at the bottom. I've really tried to make this 3D printed model, like I said, as accurate as possible. It even has some electronics to make some of the functions of the real rocket and tower realistic. For example, these have linear actuators that I bought off of Amazon, these gray pieces right here. If you want to come get a closer look, these attach to the chopsticks here and to the carriage system, and they push and pull, and those can make the chopsticks open and close just like the real SpaceX tower and chopstick system. So those are powered by battery packs that I mounted to the carriage, and then you can see the controllers or the wires are going to here too. So a very complete package. These chopsticks can go up and down the tower. There's a motor at the base that we'll check out here in just a minute. Another thing that's motorized on the tower, if we come to this side, is the QD arm that attaches to the ship, which, as we know, if you follow along with the program, provides fuel and power to the ship. So this arm, this isn't electronically actuated, but this can move. And then the arm itself has a linear actuator to open that arm or close that arm. So yeah, those are kind of the motorized parts of the tower. Oh, one more thing I told you I'd share with you. The kind of last part of the tower here that's motorized. You can see I've got a really small little RC winch that I mounted at the bottom here, and this turns this reel of, it's basically just really small rope that runs up the tower here and then kind of loops around a few times here at the top of the carriage. It's a pulley system, just like the real thing. And so the whole carriage and chopstick system moves up and down. It can support the weight of the ship or the booster, which means it can stack this thing or destack it just like the real thing. So I'll show you guys some video here in a minute if I can think of anything else to share. Oh, right. You might see that it's lit up. I tried to replicate the lighting system as well. So I've got a small LED here at the top work area of the tower, and then I've got kind of by the QD a few levels of lit areas. You can see the work platforms for the workers at Starbase are full on those 3 sections. So very realistic. Another cool thing, these aren't motorized. I was really hoping that they would be. Still kind of working on making a solution for these, but these do move manually, these flaps at the top and bottom. Not motorized, not remote controlled yet. Same with the grid fins. I've played around with that one a little bit more, got sort of a solution worked out for those. I actually posted a short clip on some of my social media platforms, not YouTube, but I have gotten these to move before with little micro servos, which were really, really cool. And then I'm able to make the booster vent there at the bottom. So I'll show some B-roll shots of that too here in a minute once we destack the ship and destack the booster. So trying to think if there's anything else worth pointing out before we do that. Oh, okay, so just to answer some of the big questions, who is this model designed by? Obviously, this is a replica of the SpaceX Starship model, but there is a company called More Than 3D. I'll post a link in the description of where you can get those 3D printed designs. That's where I got all of this, and I highly recommend checking out More Than 3D if you're really into SpaceX or Starship. Print it yourself. It's honestly like a great deal. I've gifted some of these models after purchasing them to my relatives. Haven't sold anything, not allowed to do that, but I have gifted them after buying and doing everything right. I have gifted a couple of them to my relatives, so I'll share a couple pictures of those models too. But this one's my most detailed one. It's here at my house behind my setup here when I make videos, so wanted this one to be very realistic, and it's my own, so obviously I'm gonna try to make it the best. The other question, what printer did I print the 3D printed model on? I'll show you that right now if the cameraman wants to follow me. I've got a little room here where I actually have a lot of my 3D printed stuff. I printed the whole SpaceX Starship on the Bamboo Labs P1P. It's just a fully stock printer, runs great out of the box, never had any problems with prints besides maybe the first couple when I was really dialing it in. But it printed three full 196 scale Starship models without me having to replace a part. I think I went through about 8 of the gray PLA filaments, which are about $14 each for the tower. And I went through about 2 for the ship, about 2 or 3 for the booster, so about 2.5, and then maybe 2 for the launch mount as well. So, you know, you're probably looking at a couple $100 in filament, and then this printer was about $700 at the time. So it's expensive, but if you're into it, it's really not that bad. $1,000 versus if you'd have More Than 3D print it themselves and ship it to you, and all those costs that go with shipping, you would be looking at more than like $3,000–$4,000, which is a huge difference. So save yourself some money if you want to print one of these. You can literally do it yourself for a fraction of the cost, like a quarter of the cost. So do it yourself. And then anything that I wanted a different color, I ended up painting with spray paint. I felt like the gray filament was the best quality print. I experimented with some other colors, red, white, black, blue for some of the other parts that were different colors, but I didn't have as good of luck with them. Not sure why, maybe it was just bad luck on the spools that I got, but I would just recommend printing everything in gray and then painting whatever you need painted. But I've got a lot of stock parts here, but that's kind of what I printed the model on, and some of my setup for my printing. So I think we're at the point where we can show off some of the functions of the launch tower and see this thing destack, see it stack, see it vent. So we're gonna go now into a little montage video, some of the functions, and just show this thing off a little bit, and then we'll be back to close it out. So roll the montage. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that montage of the SpaceX Starship model and some of the tower operations and stuff. It's really cool just to see it, even at a small scale level, stacking, destacking, some of the tower motions and stuff. So hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. Just to wrap up the tour real quick, I've got Ship 24, which was being stacked and destacked on top of the booster on the launch mount and with the tower. And then I was using booster 9/10 for the stacking operations, but I've got a booster 7 model here without the hot staging ring, and also with the big HPUs that we saw in the booster 7 era. So that's the flight that I went to see. I was there for IFT1, so I'm always going to keep that combo on display. Got the patch for it here on this display table. A incomplete Falcon Heavy model. I've got a completed Falcon 9 model. This one I did not print. That was before I got the 3D printer. Got a little Tesla model. This is actually at the same scale as the Starship model that I just showed you for most of the video. So really cool to kind of compare the size difference there. I've got a metal cast Saturn V model. Got a sweet little book that I've just chosen to put on this rather than my bookshelf. It's a book called Liftoff by Eric Berger, so I put that on display here. I've got a 1/200th scale SpaceX Starship. This one is based on SN8, SN9, SN10, that era when they were doing suborbital flights. Got a little picture flip book of that flight. Can't really show it on this video, but super cool. And then I've got a real piece of a Starship model. The first Starship that I went to see fly, SN10, that was the first time I was in South Padre. Second time was Fry FT1. So I got a few pieces after that had exploded, and yeah, I got that on display. So that's the collection, kind of the rocket garden area, as I like to call it, here on this display. And you saw the other main display earlier. So again, thank you so much for tuning into the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got the details you wanted. If there's anything else you want to know, just let me know. Comment in the chat what you want to know, and I'll either reply there or make a follow-up video when I make more upgrades to the tower. We're gonna see Tower 2 in Starbase very soon, so plan to keep that large 196 scale model is up to date as the current version of what's really down in Starbase. So there'll for sure be a follow-up at some point, but it probably won't be for another year or so on that one on YouTube. But maybe I'll post little 10-second, 15-second clips or something here and there. So that'll do it for the tour. Thanks again for watching.